So for those of you who aren't familiar with what recently came out from the crew at Mad Catz, they have recently revealed the Mad Catz Tournament Edition 3, the long-awaited successor to their Tournament Edition line of arcade sticks. And you would think, with these guys being the former official arcade stick of a couple of pro circuits, including the Capcom Pro Tour during its Street Fighter 4 and some portion of its Street Fighter 5 lifetime, you would expect a very high standard of quality for the controller that they're going to be putting out. And that herein lies the problem. Mad Catz recently went bankrupt a couple years ago, and on their comeback, they've made a couple of questionable decisions with their controllers. Their first initial re-release was the Mad Catz Ego, which was really a kind of knockoff controller of another, I think, Chinese stick. It worked with any console, essentially. For example, if you wanted to get the stick to work on the PlayStation 4, you would have to plug in a PS4 controller into the arcade stick and then plug the arcade stick into the PS4. It was kind of scuffed. Well, not kind of, it is pretty scuffed. And so whenever they initially revealed the Mad Catz Tournament Edition 3, we had the feeling like, okay, this looks kind of more to the form of what the TE2 was kind of like. It's kind of like an updated outer shell for what the TE2 was. All we knew about it whenever it was first revealed was that it was going to have support for the Xbox Series X and Series S, the PlayStation 4 and the PlayStation 5. So that kind of gave us a lot of hope that this was going to be a multi-platform stick. Your options for getting a universal arcade stick are pretty limited. I talk about it more in this video up here. But essentially, what you need to do to get a fully universal arcade stick is that you need to mod in a Brook Universal Fighting Board and then add in Brook's additional PS5 upgrade kit in order to get full universal support across this current generation of consoles and previous console generations. But the tragic thing is that Mad Catz didn't do that. They didn't do that at all. The TE3 doesn't follow that convention, and instead is another bypass controller like the Mad Catz Ego. So much like that controller, what you're gonna have to do is get a PlayStation 5 controller or an Xbox Series X controller and plug it into the TE3 and then plug that arcade stick into your console. I'm dying inside. It just hurts. Mad Catz was, for a long time, the king of arcade stick brands. Before you had your Quambas and your Toki Omnis and your Victrixes, Mad Catz was the main stick during the FGC's resurgence in the Street Fighter 4 era. Other than that, you had to work with different American sticks with parts that were becoming increasingly harder to find. And Mad Catz really innovated in the fact that they brought in traditional Japanese parts from the Japanese arcade cabinets and made them accessible to the American and international audience. And that was pretty incredible for the time. But in the time since then, as that company has risen and fallen out of the limelight, it really hurts to have their quote-unquote comeback be another sort of bypass controller. And I think, as far as the arcade stick industry goes, I think we've outgrown Mad Catz. They were there to get us started. They were the founder that kept us moving forward, but we just don't need them anymore. The competition is just that much better, and they haven't stepped up their game yet. So I don't know if we'll end up seeing another Mad Catz controller that will make waves in the competitive scene or even in the casual scene, for all that really matters. Maybe we will get a controller that is worthy of not only the name Tournament Edition, but also is worthy of the name Mad Catz. At least the Mad Catz that we knew.